The drama surrounding Terence "Bud" Crawford's rise has officially reached the point where it collides with one of boxing's most untouchable names, Floyd Mayweather Jr. after Crawford's stunning dismantling of Canelo Alvarez, a fight that crowned him the undisputed super middleweight champion despite moving up 2 weight classes. The sport has been buzzing with one question: has Crawford now surpassed Mayweather, and could the two ever actually meet in the ring? For years, Mayweather stood alone at the top of the mountain, a defensive genius with a perfect record, a man who could neutralize the most dangerous opponents with nothing more than timing, precision, and a ring IQ that felt almost supernatural. Canelo himself learned that lesson back in 2013, when a 23-year-old still undefeated prodigy was schooled by Mayweather in front of the world. It was a fight that haunted Canelo for years, a reminder of how far he still had to climb. Yet in a twist nobody saw coming, that same Canelo has now declared that Crawford is way better than Mayweather, a statement that cracked open the biggest debate the boxing world has had in a decade. What makes Crawford's achievement different is the risk he took. Mayweather was flawless, but he was also calculated. He picked his moments, his weight classes, and his opponents with masterful precision, never allowing himself to step into a fight where the risk outweighed the reward. Crawford, on the other hand, walked straight into the lion's den. Moving up 2 weight divisions, he faced not just a name but the name of modern boxing, the bigger, stronger, and heavily favored Canelo Alvarez. On paper, it was supposed to be a mountain too steep to climb. In reality, Crawford's speed, defense, and composure turned Canelo's size into a liability. He dominated the fight from the opening bell, controlling the tempo, standing toe-to-toe when critics swore he'd run, and walking away with a unanimous decision that made history. Floyd Mayweather watched it all unfold, and true to his persona, he wasn't content to stay silent. Shortly after the fight, Mayweather signaled that he was willing to come back, not just to talk, but to potentially fight Crawford himself. This wasn't just trash talk. It was a reminder that Floyd, even in retirement, still sees himself as the standard by which every great fighter must be measured. Fans immediately lit up at the possibility. Crawford, fresh off conquering the sport's biggest star, against Mayweather, the man who retired without ever tasting defeat. It would be nothing short of monumental. But opinions remain split. Some trainers, like Robert Garcia, have argued that Crawford's feat already places him above Mayweather, pointing out that Floyd never became undisputed in any division. Crawford now holds that distinction in 3. Others, like Eddie Hearn and Jeff Mayweather, have been quick to defend Floyd's legacy, arguing that while Crawford is brilliant, his resume still lacks the same depth of elite victories across eras. They point to the fact that many of Crawford's biggest wins, fighters like Kell Brook, Amir Khan, even Errol Spence Jr., came when those men were no longer in their absolute primes. Mayweather, on the other hand, consistently faced the best when the stakes were highest. Even Canelo's comments stirred backlash. When he said Crawford was way better than Mayweather, some saw it as honesty, others as damage control, an attempt to elevate Crawford so that his own loss looked less damning. Jeff Mayweather, Floyd's uncle, was quick to frame it as exactly that, a way for Canelo to rewrite the narrative of his career-defining defeat. Still, the fact that Alvarez, proud, accomplished, and still dangerous, would make such a statement only added fuel to the fire. Crawford himself, however, has refused to get dragged into the endless comparison game. He's been clear: Floyd was the greatest of his era. Crawford is the greatest of his. For him, there's no need to tear one man down to elevate the other. But make no mistake, his dominance over Canelo wasn't just another win. It was a message, loud and clear, that greatness can't be confined to one style, one era, or one man. The fallout from that September night in Las Vegas has only grown more fascinating. Floyd Mayweather, the ultimate perfectionist, bet $50,000 on Crawford to win, walking away with more than $120,000 in profit. That wager wasn't just a financial move, it was a public vote of confidence, proof that even Floyd himself recognized what Crawford brought into the ring. And yet, by throwing his hat back into the conversation with a call-out, Floyd ensured that the debate over who's really the pound-for-pound king would rage on. The layers of tension go beyond just skills. Crawford fights in a way that feels raw, honest, and dangerous. He doesn't avoid exchanges, he doesn't hide behind safety-first tactics. He fights to dominate. Mayweather, by contrast, was the ultimate chess player, winning rounds, shutting down opponents, and forcing them into mistakes they couldn't recover from. To some, Crawford's style feels more fan-friendly, more exciting. To others, it lacks the cold, surgical brilliance that kept Mayweather undefeated for decades. Then there's the question of timing. Mayweather is now in his late 40s. Crawford, at 37, is closer to the twilight of his career than the beginning, but still sharp, still fresh off the biggest win of his life. If a fight were to happen, the circumstances would inevitably favor Crawford. Yet for fans, the allure isn't about logic, it's about spectacle. Could Floyd's defense still withstand Crawford's hunger? Could Crawford do to Mayweather what no man before him could? Trainer Greg Hackett has already dismissed the idea, insisting that Floyd, even at his age, remains on another level. Eddie Hearn echoes the skepticism, arguing that Crawford's resume, while historic, doesn't compare to Floyd's body of work. But the counterpoint is powerful. Resumes are history, and history was made the night Crawford beat Canelo Alvarez. For now, Crawford's team isn't rushing to capitalize on the hype. His trainer Brian "Bomac" McIntyre has made it clear that Crawford deserves rest, not another brutal camp. They trained nearly half a year for the Canelo fight, and now it's time for Bud to enjoy the spoils of his labor. But that hasn't stopped the boxing world from speculating. The chatter won't die down. Not when Canelo himself is praising Crawford above Floyd. Not when Mayweather is stirring the pot, reminding everyone he still commands attention. What's certain is that Crawford's win has shaken the sport to its core. The undefeated mystique once belonged only to Mayweather. Now it belongs to Crawford too, and his willingness to take risks sets him apart. He's not just fighting to stay perfect, he's fighting to redefine what perfection means. So the question hangs in the air, impossible to escape. Should Mayweather stay retired, his legacy untouchable, his record unblemished? Or should he step into the ring one more time, risk it all, and give the world the ultimate showdown with Terence Crawford? That's the fight fans are dreaming of, and it's a debate that will not go away anytime soon. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Floyd Mayweather should come back to fight Terence Crawford, or has Crawford already carved out a legacy that doesn't need Floyd's stamp? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, hit that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a moment of boxing history in the making.